one thing I wanted to ask you guys is, we all know it's important to get this me time. So we've established this fact that without this, we are, what I think is, without this, we come back to our families half the man that we really are. I don't know about you, James, but for me, if I don't get this me time, I'm not really as present as I can be with my family. Do you agree?
No,
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, you have to, pa rin. Pero
No, I
at the
agree.
back of your head, parang there's something missing.
It's a difficult thing, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
it does seem like a selfish act.
Yeah, totoo.
I mean, on the surface, it can be misconstrued as a selfish act, but in order for you to give the best to your family, you have to be complete.
Exactly. You gotta give to yourself as well. So I wanted to ask you guys, we know it's important. How do you really get it? We're always busy. That's a given. There's always work. What is it? What is your strategy in making sure that you have this time for yourself?
Actually, forgive me, Brian, if I can
No,
just jump
go,
in here.
go.
Yeah, anybody.
Because I'm thinking the challenge for me is not so much how do I get that time, it's how
Okay.
do I balance that time. How much is a fair enough time for me and my family?
Good point.
Because if you look hard enough, you'll find the time. But then, how do you appropriate that time accordingly? So, I try as much if I can to use some of the activities that I try to kill two birds with one stone.
Okay.
The drive home for a start. That's
yeah,
an
yeah.
hour and a half.
Yeah.
That's me time. Now, I try as much as possible. I try as much as possible to not. No, it's okay. It just got loose. I shouldn't have said that. You don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
It's his headphones.
Especially when we're talking about manly me time. I was like, it just got loose.
FYI, headphones lang yan.
Headphones. So the drive home,
Yeah.
Chappie,
Yeah.
that's a given. So
Uh-huh.
that's an hour and a half, depending where I'm coming from. Like tonight, I'll be driving. Well, I'll be going somewhere, but normally I'll be driving straight home.
Yeah.
Alabang. That's a long time that I can have alone, but I have to be disciplined enough to switch off the phone.
Ayun.
Even though I have Bluetooth in the car and I can, talk
listen to
whatever,
your- yeah.
it's different. It doesn't classify as me time if I'm still on what you call number 4 in the performance meter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. So what I do is if I switch off and I say that this is either airplane mode or just music mode or podcast mode or I'm listening to, I try to listen to either podcasts or audiobooks or
Yeah.
anything educational. Because there's some value being given to me in exchange for that dead time. So that's part of my me time.
Yeah.
If that's not enough, because obviously you can, in theory, it's an hour and a half to yourself, but you're fighting every inch of the way with traffic and people
Yeah.
cutting you off and all that. So it's not exactly a stress-free environment. It's hard, dude. It's hard. It's really, really hard. I just try to maybe get up a little earlier in the morning or stay up that extra hour at night or stuff like that.
But you gotta get it in, no? You gotta.
But you have to prioritize.
Yeah.
It's like working out. I mean,
True. Yeah.
in your lifestyle, you can't imagine a life without working out because it's built into your
True,
schedule.
yeah.
It's non-negotiable. It's like
Yeah.
eating and breathing and sleeping. Whereas in mine, I've somehow left it as a negotiable. So it's like, wait, hang on. If I finish this, and this, then I'll use the no. But if I prioritize that and put that at the beginning of the bottom of the pyramid or somewhere in the middle of the pyramid,
Yeah.
it's got to be done. So the same with me time. You have to prioritize it, but talk about it first. Talk about it with your partner. It's not necessarily about asking permission, but it's about managing expectations. Because if you go missing in action, it could lead to bigger problems too.
True,
You
yeah.
just need to communicate that and reassure as well your partner, or whoever you are taking that time away from, that you are not doing this to take away from them, but to just complete yourself so that you can give more of yourself to your family.
Completely agree. How about you, Brian?
You have to, in my case, you
Yeah,
have to
in your
really,
case, yeah.
you have to really commit to it.
Okay.
Kasi, whenever I would, let's say, I would want to do something on my own, something as little as going to the mall, I would always have to tell my daughter, like, anak,
Paalam muna na.
yeah, or even my family, sabihin nila na, we have dinner tonight, can I just skip dinner and just spend time with myself,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and it's nice because they do understand that, they don't
do.
take offense to that, but there are from past experiences, from past relationships, a lot of them do take offense to that, and which is where
Yes.
and you have to, if it's one thing I learned, is that you have to explain
Exactly.
as to
Why you're
you're
doing
doing
it.
it in the first place, and it starts with being completely honest. I'm burnt out. I really need to take a break. I mean, I'm not saying I'm burnt out with you. I'm
Yes,
not saying,
yes.
It's not because I don't love you. It's more on I just need time for myself. I need time to
Yeah,
recharge.
but you can spend time with me alone. I mean, you be
That's
yourself.
different.
No, it is.
yeah,
it is.
yeah. But yeah, I've heard
the irony
that
is I've
before.
heard that before.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's why it's
there.
also important to have that, the phone thing. If you're going to switch off, you switch off.
Yeah.
Because if you're having me time, but with the threat of that phone going off and you having to answer it, you're not quite there. You're not quite getting the
No.
full value. You're still your RPM, your idling is still around
True.
2,000
Totoo.
or 5,000 RPM or 3, whatever.
And in the rare occasions that I do get to go out of town, even it's a
Wait, by yourself?
no.
Okay.
I haven't done that yet. So even if it's a company outing, I make it a point that I try to stay away from social media. I
Yeah.
try to stay away from my phone. Period. I leave my phone in the hotel.
Ah, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
That's
so that
brave. That's so brave.
Hindi ko kasi kaya yun.
How to impress somebody in 2019? I leave my phone in the hotel.
You know.
Willingly.
How do you do that?
You're a unicorn.
My
Diba?
God.
No, because how
Is
are
that
you
even
supposed?
legal?
How are you supposed to enjoy your vacation
When you're
when
connected.
you're lugging a phone around? I
How
mean,
are you
think about
supposed to
it.
take pictures of your vacation?
Well, normally on the first
Travelgram ko.
first day, I don't take.
How is
pictures.
anyone supposed to know you're on vacation if you don't bring your phone, bro?
Isn't that the point?
No.
Nobody's supposed to know where you are.
Nobody, yeah.
If,
But I
if
agree.
it's not on Instagram, it didn't happen.
Sorry, but I don't live in the social media, the world of social media. I don't live there. So that's because social media, especially for us in this industry, it gets taxing sometimes.
True.
Especially you.
Sometimes.
Especially you. Araw-araw ka.
Sometimes.
Kamusta ka, James?
It's become quite a cesspool out there of
See?
I mean it's my whole thing about social media, which worries me a lot because I've seen the value of it, and I've been a direct recipient of the value of social media. So I should be the last person complaining about this. I've made a good living out of it. I've made so many connections. I've gotten so many wonderful things done through social media. But I see the switch. I see how it's become.
That was 10 years ago.
It was 10 years. Well, 2014 and stuff was still a very, very, very good year to about. I remember about 15 onwards, it started to decline, and that's because that's when they started to change the format. Became more about rewarding the likes, and which drove a different type of behavior.
Totoo.
Because it's now rage bait. Anything that was low hanging fruit for likes is rage, xenophobia, all the wrong feelings. Anyway, we got
Isn't that exactly why Instagram is experimenting with that no likes
No
counter?
likes thing.
Yeah. I know something like my
but nobody likes it.
my brother's in Dubai and they're doing it there. It's weird though.
How's it going?
Weird.
Yeah, nga. How literally? How's it going?
Well, he was complaining about it because we're in the
see?
same industry and we kind of, rely on that as well for our business.
Imagine what the Instagram models feel like.
More
They're
so
probably
them.
foaming in the mouth already. So.
It's a very interesting experiment.
It is,
I
actually.
I really don't have a actual rock solid hard position on this because I see the value of taking away the likes. That's why I love the stories.
Yeah.
Because the stories
True,
have
yeah,
tended
yeah.
to release the pressure from our
nga.
our youth. Because they can put stuff up without that pressure of
Ilan may
having that
likes ko?
currency
Yeah.
attached to
Oo
it.
nga.
Man